What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome back to MKO Boxing, aka MKO Pugilism, where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube, follow on TikTok, all that good stuff. So, yeah, let's get into this one. So, this coming Saturday, we've got a fight on BBC, which clashes also with Ben Whittaker's fight on the Zone. So, the BBC one, you've got two heavyweights in there for the British heavyweight title, where we have Jeamie TKV versus Frazer Clarke, and Frazer Clarke, the former Olympian, good amateur, box for Team GB. He's a guy that's only fallen short against Fabio Wardley. That's the sole defeat of his career, where he had that horrendous, the jaw got spun, jaw got dented in by a punch off of Fabio Wardley. But aside from that, the only other sort of blemish on his record was the draw against Fabio Wardley. So, and considering Fabio Wardley is now world champion, and he's just come off of that victory over Joseph Parker, it makes the draw that Frazer Clarke had with him about a year or so back, it makes that look pretty good in hindsight now. So, yeah, of the two of them, you've got Jeamie TKV, who of the two of them, he's boxed sort of the lesser opposition. On his record, he's only got, the two defeats. One of them, the first one, was due to that Eagle guy, very threatening character. And TKV lost that one on cuts. He had a bad cut over his eye. So, to be fair, that happens. That's unfortunate that it got cut like that, but that's one of the losses. And then the other loss was also controversial when he lost to David Adelaide. And again, that was controversial because they're in a clinch where TKV was they were both sort of holding each other. The ref shouts break, and then, obviously TKV sort of steps back. And then after the referee's braked and he's separated them and told TKV step back, Adelaide's gone and thrown a hook and knocked Jeamie TKV out, which again, that was very controversial there because, they were told to break. And that means just break, and then you wait until the ref gives you further instructions, and then he's got hit with a hook. And that's the sort of other blemish. So he's not put much of a foot wrong, but of the two of them, for me, I'd have to go with Frazer Clarke, because I think Frazer Clarke, he's the guy that's the higher caliber boxer, and he's mixed with the better company of the two. For TKV, probably the best he's been in with is, I would say, maybe David Adelaide. And to be fair to him, he was outboxing David Adelaide, was winning that fight. But, Frazer Clarke has been in there with guys that have been historically durable, like Mariusz Wach, and done well against him, beat him. And also, you've got to look at the win over Dave Allen. Dave Allen's not the greatest fighter, but he's a decent sort of English, British level guy. And, you'd say he's up there with anyone on TKV's resume, really. And, you've got also the guys like, as I said, Fabio Wardley, where it was very competitive with him. He was exhausted at the end of that fight. But I think of the two of them, they've only had 11 fights in Frazer Clarke's case and 10 in Jeamie TKV's on his record. But for me, I'm just thinking, the two of them, the more skilled fighter is definitely Frazer Clarke. And obviously the guy with the much greater amateur pedigree, international amateur pedigree, is also Frazer Clarke. And he, of the two of them, he also blew out Ebenezer Tete, or Uncle Tete, as they call him, on the Undefeated, who, before that, Ebenezer Tete had been in there with Dillian Whyte, give Dillian Whyte a few rounds and a few scares, although he shouldn't have really given Dillian Whyte those scares, but he'd given Dillian Whyte those scares, and Frazer Clarke just sort of blew him away in the round. He did protest the stoppage, but yeah, good form, good confidence builder for Frazer Clarke. So, yeah, both guys, they shape up quite well. I'd say Frazer Clarke has got the edge in boxing skill. He's the better schooled boxer, the more skilled boxer, and he's the much more precise, and he delivers his punches a lot better than does Jeamie TKV. He's got that schooling. He throws the punches correct. He throws with serious power as well. Not the biggest puncher in the heavyweight division, but he throws very precisely, and he's got that respectable power. I'd say he's the harder hitter of the two, and he's technically better than he's the better boxer of the two. So for me, just going by resumes, although there's not much really to go on, I think he's mixed in a better caliber of opposition, and he's shown the better boxing ability, the better boxing skill, and he's beaten the better names than Jeamie TKV has. So, on paper, looking at this, I just think Frazer Clarke's the better fighter, and he's a better man in the ring, the more skilled man, probably the harder puncher, and I just think he's just too polished and that bit too good. He should just be a bit too good for Jeamie TKV, and I think Frazer Clarke probably wins this by sort of a late stoppage. It might go to points, but I reckon probably late stoppage for me. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on my ramblings there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, it's MKO Boxing, over and out. Catch you on the next one.